Step into the arena, RCMP Plus. It's not luck, it's logic. Bang, that's a power bomb move right there. Light it up, baby, because that's fantasy fireworks. Buckets, baby. Ain't no rivalry like an RCMP rivalry. From stats to smack talk, where trash talk meets true talk. It's not just fantasy, it's legacy.
Welcome back to the RCMP Plus Fantasy Hoops Podcast. The draft boards are cleared, the teams are locked, and the road to fantasy glory officially begins tonight.
Let's go! The 2025 draft is in the books, and man, we've got some wild rosters this year. Some teams drafted like geniuses, others drafted like they were picking out of a hat.
Hey, that's the beauty of it, PG. 12 managers, 13 rounds, and enough chaos to make Adam Silver sweat. We're breaking it all down tonight, pick by pick, team by team.
Plus, NBA tip-off is right around the corner, October 21st. Which means these squads only have days to start cooking up chemistry before the fantasy fireworks begin.
And don't forget, every Monday, we're dropping a new RCMP Plus episode, keeping you locked in with power rankings, trade buzz, and a few friendly roast sessions along the way.
You know, we're not holding back this year. Someone's getting clowned, and it might be you.
All right, let's get into it, starting right at the top of the draft with the first overall pick.
With the number 1 overall pick, the Ballers came out swinging. Nikola Jokic, LeBron, Embiid, Zion, and John Morant. It's like they drafted the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's a lineup built for highlight reels and stat sheets. But PG, you know what I'm thinking, that's a lot of big names and a lot of big bodies. Durability's gonna matter. Jokic and LeBron might be chilling on cruise control by February.
Facts. But if Ja and Zion stay upright, the Ballers might not lose a matchup all year. It's like the fantasy gods finally gave them an injury-free wish list.
Let's move to pick 2, the Power Bombers. SGA and Giddey back together. The OKC brothers reunited. Franz Wagner, Jarrett Allen, Jalen Duren. That's some serious youth movement.
Yeah, they drafted like they're building a team for the next 5 years. I like it. Tons of athleticism, sneaky depth. But man, they better hope SGA puts up MVP numbers again because there's not a ton of proven scoring behind him.
True, but that front court is going to eat rebounds for breakfast. Duren and Allen could combine for 25 boards a night. And if Ace Bailey pans out mid-season, the Power Bombers could be the first real threat to the Ballers.
Next up, the Pinguinis. And I'll be real, this might be my favorite roster in the top 4. Wemby, KD, Kawhi, Porzingis, Beal. It's a fantasy team straight out of a dream.
Yeah, or a hospital ward. Those are all glass cannons, but when they're healthy, oh man, they could score 800 inches a week without breaking a sweat.
They're the definition of risk divided by reward. Wemby's gonna stuff every box score, KD and Kawhi are still elite, and Tyler Herro might quietly be the engine that keeps this team rolling.
All right, rounding out the top 4, 2 balls, 1 hoop, Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray, and Derek White. That's a playoff-built core if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they've got that no-nonsense vibe. Giannis anchors the stats, Murray gives the fire, and the rest fill in the gaps. Sneaky depth too. Hartenstein, McCollum, and Kobe White are glue guys.
It's not flashy, but it's balanced. I think this team might fly under the radar for a few weeks, and then just quietly take over by Christmas.
Hot take already? I like it. The top 4 all made statements, but the big question is who actually built a season-long contender and who just drafted names?
We'll find out soon enough. But up next, we hit the middle of the board. Those sneaky squads that might not win the headlines, but could steal the season.
All right, Tommy, we're moving to the heart of the draft. This is where champions are usually made, the middle picks. These managers didn't get the Jokics or the SGAs, but they did get depth, upside, and maybe the best value in the whole board.
Facts. Starting at pick 5 Notre Dame time. And let me tell you, they came out looking like a spreadsheet masterclass. Luka Doncic, Bam Adebayo, Vucevic. That's all-around production at every position.
Yeah, they basically drafted a triple-double factory. Luka's going to be dropping 60-point fantasy nights while Bam and Vucevic rack up boards. Add Fox and Jalen Johnson. This is a team that's going to live in the 1400s every week.
And I like the mix. It's not just stars. They've got some sneaky bench punch too. Quickly, Simons, Obi Toppin. Those guys could swing matchups in quieter weeks.
All right, moving to pick 6, Z Tigers. This team screams swagger. Anthony Edwards, Harden, Jalen Green, Rudy Gobert. They're basically betting the house on scoring and confidence.
Yup. They drafted like they're trying to win the highlight reel and the trash talk battle. But Cooper Flagg and Shaden Sharp, those are X factors. If either pops early, Z Tigers could be dangerous.
Only question mark chemistry. Edwards and Harden are both alpha scorers. Can they coexist in a fantasy sense? Or do we see stat overlap that caps their ceiling?
That's the gamble, man. But when the Tigers are hot, they'll torch anyone in the league.
Pick 7, pad, foot, toes. And I'll be real, this might be the most balanced squad in the whole draft. Curry, Sabonis, Jimmy Butler, and MPJ. That's steady, veteran scoring.
They play winning fantasy basketball. High efficiency, big minutes, consistent counting stats. You're not getting 1,600-point weeks, but you're not dropping under 1,300 either.
Exactly. Think of them as that team that wins 7-5 every week. Plus, Naz Reid and Cam Thomas as late picks, that's serious bench juice.
Padfoot's gonna be the team everyone underestimates and regrets it by week 3.
Next up, pick 8, Dunkin' Donuts. And yo, talk about a wild card. Jalen Brunson, Amen Thompson, Evan Mobley, Austin Reeves. That's a vibes team if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they might not lead any category, but they'll fight in all of them. I like that Mobley-Zubac front court. That's quiet consistency. And if Amen Thompson makes a second-year leap, watch out.
It's like a breakfast sandwich, not flashy, but it hits every time. Dunkin' Donuts might sneak into a playoff spot on hustle alone.
They've also got depth for days. Clarkson, Valanciunas, Aaron Gordon. That's a team that's gonna grind out wins when the big stars rest.
Up next, we hit the late picks. The Guardians, Jokie Thagoat, the Alphas, and of course the reigning trash talk champions, the King Cobras. Who stole the steals? Who whiffed the draft board? Stick around.
All right, folks. We're down to the bottom of the draft order, and this is where the real madness starts. Some of these GMs had to wait forever to make their first pick. But you know what they say, PG patience pays off.
Exactly. Let's start with pick 9, the Guardians. And man, I love this team. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Williams, Tyrese Maxey, Jaren Jackson Jr., that's the new age fantasy core. They can fill every stat line without needing 40 minutes.
It's a modern, balanced build. High usage guards, versatile forwards, and solid depth with OG, Randall, Barrett, and even rookies like Matas Buzelis. The Guardians could be that team that sneaks into the playoffs and suddenly nobody wants to face them.
Yeah, there's not a bad pick here. Just efficient, smart fantasy value. I'm giving this draft a solid A-.
Pick 10 Jokie Thagoat. And I gotta say, this might be the most steady veteran lineup in the league. AD, Siakam, DeRozan, Turner, that's big boy fantasy basketball.
For real. They're not chasing flash, they're going for nightly reliability. The only knock? Maybe too many mid-range assassins. Not enough high-volume threes or assists. But hey, when you've got AD anchoring, that's a walking 55 fantasy points a night.
Yeah. And Desmond Bane and Garland add spacing. I'll say it now, Jokie Thagoat is gonna hover around the playoff bubble all year. Whether they break through depends on health and consistency.
Pick 11, the Alphas. And bro, they drafted like they were playing 4D chess. Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes. That's a core that could go nuclear.
Exactly. They've got everything scoring, playmaking, rebounding. Then they stack it with Lauri Markkanen, Ayton, Kyrie, Kuzma. This team's loaded. It's risky, but the upside is championship level.
They're like a high-octane offense. Might explode for 1,600 one week, might dip to 1,300 the next. But you can't sleep on them.
They drafted for fireworks. And if LaMelo stays healthy, this team might be the surprise contender of the year.
And finally, the champs King Cobras. The last pick, but the most confident team in the league. Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren. That's an elite fantasy core if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they somehow turned pick 12 into a title defense roster. You've got scoring, you've got rim protection, and a whole bunch of attitude. This is the fantasy version of Showtime Lakers meets WWE.
Zach LaVine, McCall Bridges, Jordan Poole. They've got shooting, swagger, and depth. If this team stays healthy, they could absolutely repeat.
And don't forget, they're built for the long game. They can afford slow starts because come playoff time, that roster's going to be rolling.
So there it is, the full breakdown. 12 teams, 13 rounds, and a season's worth of bragging rights ready to go.
From the Ballers superstar stack to the Cobras cool confidence, this league is officially locked in. The draft board's closed, the predictions are flying, and all eyes are on tip-off October 21st.
Make sure you tune in next week when we start sizing up early week matchups and who's most likely to open 1-0.
It's time, baby. The fantasy grind starts now. Let's go. All right, PG, the dust has settled, the boards are wiped clean, and every GM's already convincing themselves they drafted the perfect team.
Yeah, and half of them are wrong. But that's what makes it fun. So, Tommy, who do you think walked out of this draft as the early favorite?
Oof, tough one. But I'm gonna say it, the Alphas. That lineup's got fantasy fireworks written all over it. Booker, LaMelo, Towns, Barnes, Kyrie. Every one of those dudes can go for 50 plus on any given night.
Okay, I can see that. That team's got boom potential. But I'm rolling with the Power Bombers. SGA and Franz Wagner as a 1-2 punch. Add Duran and Giddey for steady double-doubles. That team's gonna quietly stomp people. Like, you won't notice till you check the scoreboard and realize they dropped 1,500.
Yeah, but quiet doesn't win the league, PG. You need flash. You need chaos. And that's why the Alphas could be that team that's 7-1 before anyone knows what happened.
Laughing. Spoken like a man who drafts for vibes, not value.
Hey, sometimes vibes are value.
All right, what about a dark horse, a sleeper team that could shock everyone by midseason?
I'm saying Notre Dame time. Luka, Bam, Fox, that's a dangerous trio. They've got balance, leadership, and scoring versatility. They might not be flashy, but they're built to hang around.
Yeah, good pick. But my sleeper's the Guardians. They're loaded with those mid-tier guys who just fill stat lines. Cade, Maxey, J-Dub, those dudes are consistency machines. You need that to win in fantasy.
All right, PG, no more fence sitting. Who's winning the 2025-26 RCMP Plus Fantasy Hoops Championship?
Pauses dramatically. The King Cobras. Until someone knocks them off, they're still the champs. That draft was too strong to bet against.
Laughs. Fair enough. But my money's on 2 balls, 1 hoop. Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray. If that team stays healthy, they're lifting the trophy come playoff time.
All right, write it down. Tommy's betting on the Greeks. I'm sticking with the Snakes. We'll see who's right come spring.
Oh, I'll remember this moment when your pick's in the play-in round, my friend.
Yeah, I'll bring tissues for you when Giannis sits out back-to-backs.
And that's a wrap on the RCMP Plus Fantasy Hoops 2025 Draft Recap. 12 teams, 13 rounds, and a season's worth of bragging rights just waiting to unfold.
NBA tip-off is October 21st. Mark your calendars. And we'll be back that week with our first weekly breakdown show highlights, heartbreaks, and hopefully not too many waiver wire disasters.
Until then, good luck to all the GMs. Your drafts are done. Your excuses are ready. And the chase for the cup starts now.
This has been RCMP Plus Fantasy Hoops, where the stats are real and the trash talk's elite. Catch you next week.